how much are you profiting a month at the moment?
So I'm sitting at about a 45% profit margin. So if I'm doing a 40K month, what's that, like 17, 18,000?
Welcome to Success Stories. Super excited to chat to you today. I'm here with Emma.
Hello.
Who's not only a student, but is now a coach at Freedom Club. So really exciting. For those that have never watched one of my live calls before, I feel sorry for you because you're missing out. However, I'm glad you're here now. So Success Stories, the name explains it. I interview successful Freedom Club students, hear their stories in hopes to motivate you, inspire you, get you super excited. Today's guest, Emma. So Emma started as a student. She's now a coach at Freedom Club. Really, really interesting story. A little bit of a teaser about Emma. She is currently doing around $40,000 months. Is that right? Revenue roundabout. So really interesting story. Let's go from the start. Where are you from?
So I'm originally a Kiwi. So I'm from New Zealand.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. And I moved over here when I was like towards the end of primary school, I think.
Okay.
So I was just a little kid and we came over here just purely wanted a better life. So mum and dad moved my sister and I over here and then, been here ever since and I love it and I don't think I would go back.
Okay. I mean, Australia is the best country
ever.
So
sunny and so warm here. So many opportunities and I love it.
Okay. And I don't hear a Kiwi accent. So
no, I think
young.
because I came over, when I was like towards the end of primary school. So obviously did high school and then turning 30 this year. So been here a while.
So when's your birthday? I'm 30 this year as well.
April.
Okay. So I'm September. So you're older than me.
Yeah.
You do seem more mature.
Oh, thank you. I'll take that.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's talk about schooling. So you were here when you were a toddler. Primary school.
Yeah.
So what school did you go to in Brisbane? Did you go to school in Brisbane? Or?
I did go to school in Brizzy. So I went to a school called Greenslope State School, just a little school. Then I went to high school at Cav Road. I don't know if anyone would know what that is, but I was just always into sports, netball specifically, played a lot of netball throughout high school.
Well, you're quite tall.
Yeah, so
makes sense.
Played a lot of netball and then played a lot of indoor netball and played for Australia. So that was very cool, but that was like my whole focus throughout.
You played for Australia for netball?
Yeah.
What?
So that was really cool.
That's so cool. Good on you.
Yeah, so netball was like my life for a long time. So got me through high school and I probably played it up until I was like 25 maybe, but.
25. And so high school, how did you do? You would have been quite distracted with netball, I imagine, but were you distracted? How were your grades?
I was probably the average student. I wasn't anything crazy academic. I was just kind of coasting by, passed everything.
Okay.
Yeah. And then went to uni. But what does every kid do that they love sport and don't know what they want to do at uni is a sport and exercise science degree.
Okay.
Did that. Again, wasn't the most academic teenager or kid, but I passed everything.
So you've got, did you do a diploma or a bachelor?
Yeah, bachelor degree in sport and exercise science.
Wow, good on you.
Straight out of school, failed quite a few units.
Okay, so I'm not too familiar with university. I tried twice, wasn't there long enough. But if you fail a subject, it adds what, like a few more?
Yeah, so a 3-year degree took me 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, was it just distracted by playing netball or were you,
Actually, yes and no. So I was probably more distracted with work. So I started a job just as I left high school in retail.
Okay.
And I climbed the ladder quite quickly in a retail management role. And
wow, good on you.
I loved it. It was like I was climbing the ladder really quickly. I got offered some really good opportunities in retail management and I was so focused on that.
Yeah.
And, when I was in high school, it was one of those things that we were told we had to go to university. By our parents. So I went to uni, did whatever degree was kind of told I should do. I guess I was into sports, so I just decided that was what was for me. So I was so focused on my career through retail management and that's why it just took me so long to.
I want to hear more about what you've done for work, but just on university, it is a really interesting one because we all go through, basically everyone goes through high school. And everyone, you're either, I guess, taught to do a trade or to further your education, whether it's a cert or a diploma or a bachelor. But majority of schools, it's safe to say that they want you to get further educated, right? And it's just really interesting the recommendations of education, I guess they suggest, because, all my friends that have gone to university, and again, the utmost respect to people that have been able to get a bachelor at university, because it's like you go there at an age where you just want to, I guess, have fun. You've just finished school and so I have a lot of respect and admiration for that. But at the same time, I feel that a lot of people end up going to university, they educate themselves further, but then they end up working for someone else, a 9 to 5, which again, I'm not like this anti 9 to 5 person. Like, God bless everyone. I wish the best for everyone. Myself personally, I like having my freedom, and I'm sure all of you do too. That's why you've joined the Freedom Club. But it's just so interesting how we're pushed to work for someone. So it is really interesting. Obviously, your life's very different now. So let's talk about work, Emma. So you had the retail job, moved to a manager very quickly.
Yeah, so I was 17 when I started this retail job for a very big company. And
what was the company called?
Rebel Sport.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense. Netball, athlete, Rebel Sport, studying sports science. You're really fitting a mold here.
Yeah. So then, I started with him as a seasonal casual and just honestly worked my way through the ranks quite quickly. So by the time I was 22, 23, I was managing stores. And then I eventually moved into what we call projects. So that's doing project management, setting up new stores, helping with fit outs, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And that was a lot of travel around Australia, and I just fell in love with it. I was like, this is something I'm super passionate about. And then I fell into a project management role for Rebel Sport.
So you did that for Rebel Sport, but then you worked for another company doing project management, or did you stay for Rebel?
No, so that was with Rebel. So I was still with Rebel the whole time. So fun fact, I'm actually still employed with them to this day, but I don't work at the moment. So
since you were 17?
Since I was 17. So
almost
do
13
the maths.
years.
Yeah, 13 years with one company. Long time. So I just worked my way up in the corporate part of it, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the big question then. What made you want to get into Freedom Club? Why did you become a student of Freedom Club?
Yeah. So in about, I think it was 2021, we were kind of in the thick of COVID, but coming out the end of COVID, we couldn't travel for work. So I was still in this project management role. I couldn't travel for work. So we were doing a lot of things remotely. My dad passed away in September 2021 and everything changed. So we still couldn't travel for work, but the specific area that I was working for just didn't understand what I was going through at the time. And I was kind of given, 2 to 3 days off work when my dad had just passed away in a motorbike accident. So it was very sudden, not expected. He was 52. And then, everything since then was just changed. So my boss didn't understand. And I thought, it's probably for the best if I pull back and go back to a store level just as admin or something like that behind the scenes. I thought that's better for the company, better for me to take, I guess the stress off everything. So I did that in 2021. And then, I think coming back into stores, I wasn't passionate about it. And so I then worked part-time as admin, and then I went back into coaching, PT, because I have a degree in exercise and sports science.
Okay.
I thought, why not go back into coaching? So I started coaching group fitness and then working part-time with Rebel as well. So I balanced that for a little while.
So from there, when did you first try online business?
Funny you say that, because in 2018, I dabbled in having an e-commerce store selling jewelry.
2018?
2018.
Okay.
So just purely online. I used to go to the markets sometimes as well. So that was, I guess, my first experience with having an e-commerce store.
So you sold online and in person at the markets?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hustler. Love it.
So only did that for about 12 months. It was just a little bit of fun, a little bit of a hobby.
Did you find any success with that?
Oh, yeah. I grew a really good online community, but it was just more of a hobby thing at the time. So it wasn't anything that I was going to pursue forever, but I knew at that point that I'd always be in business, so to speak. So did that. And then I fell pregnant with my son in 2022 and had him in 2023. In June. And it was that moment I was on maternity leave from my job.
And sorry, at this time, you were a single parent?
Yes. So I've been a single mum from the get-go. So
oh, wow. Okay.
I did my pregnancy alone, having a newborn alone. My mum was a great support, but
God bless.
That was it. So I knew that when I had him, I couldn't go back to the PT job that I was doing, because that's early mornings, late nights. I knew it was just kind of out of the picture for me.
Impossible to manage that with a little baby.
Yeah, and then because I was still working for the Rebel at the time, I was on maternity leave from there as well. So I just knew that when I had him at home, I was up all night and I'm I need to stimulate my brain with something, and I need to figure out a way that's going to make me money at the same time, because I want to be able to not just take 3 months maternity leave and then force a 3-month-old baby into daycare and have the mum guilt that comes along with it.
Yeah.
Not only that, a full-time job as a single mum is like near impossible with daycare hours as it is. So yeah, and that's when I signed up to Freedom.
Okay, so it was 2023 while you're on your maternity leave still.
So I think my son was about 3 or 4 months old. And I was like, you know what? I'm up during the night anyway. Might as well be doing something and making myself money. So.
Or just a question, Emma. Do many students know, I mean, I'm sure you all know Emma as a coach, but do many students know that you also started doing the course?
I think so. Some that I do have that rapport with will know that I've been a student before, and some of those ones that were around during that time, because I think when I joined in 2023, it was like the first year. So I think when I joined, there was only about 400 students.
Yeah, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so keep going there. So you joined in 2024. So, and the reason for joining was, you realized that you needed to make money online to be around for Hunter.
Yeah.
Like, what were the initial feelings? Was it hard to first get you to join up to Freedom Club?
Not really. So I had seen a few ads come up. I had always wanted to dabble in that, but I'd never had time to, because I've always been a person that's worked, 2 jobs or been busy with sport, things like that. So when I saw the ads come up, and then I saw Mitch Orville post a little bit about it as well and some of his success, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to give it a go. And I signed up and paid the full fee, and I loved it. I loved it. And it was like a small little community at the start. And it took me a month to create my store.
Okay, so 1 month to create your store.
Yeah.
What was the first challenge you faced? Or actually, was there any points that you felt like giving up, first of all?
No, because I always had the idea in my mind that I wasn't going back to work. I couldn't go back to my corporate job working as a project manager. I couldn't travel around Australia. I couldn't go back to working full-time as a single mum with a baby. It was just not possible. Couldn't go back to PT. So it was like, that was always in the back of my mind. And so I'd be up until 3 a.m. doing my store and
good on you.
Setting everything up, because I knew that that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I had a product that I truly believed in too.
Okay, so keen to hear more about that, Emma. But what's interesting is everyone that I've interviewed so far, one consistent thing, there's been a few, is that there's been no plan B, right? Yeah. People haven't just gone, oh, look, I'll just try e-commerce, I'll try Freedom Club, I'll see what happens. It's like, no, I'm going to get into this. There is no plan B. This has to work. This has to work.
Yeah, I didn't give myself any other option. I was like, tunnel vision. That was my goal. Wanted to make money online. And to me at the time, freedom was just being able to pay the bills and staying at home just that little bit longer with my son. Okay. So I wanted to get to, my first goal was to be off for 6 months.
Okay.
So
let's talk about this. So you had your first product you were really passionate about.
Yeah.
Did this exact product work straight away?
Not straight away. So it is still a similar product to what I have to this day. Mm-hmm. It did not work straight away. It took a lot of hours with ads, a lot of tweaking the website, a lot of content creation. But I truly believed there was a gap in the market for this type of product. And I had a passion for this particular product and what it did. And I knew I needed to make this work. So I could have turned around and said, no. I do remember going to, I think when Chris was first starting his ad calls, and I do remember him looking at the ads and going, this isn't going to work. And I was like, no, it's going to work. I know it's going to work. So it was just a lot of persistence, but it's paid off.
Okay, so you launched after 30 days.
Yeah.
When did you get your first sale? Straight away?
No. So I actually launched at a really weird time of year. So I launched in December 18 to be specific. So
very close to Christmas, which normally is okay. But
very close to Christmas in 2023.
Okay.
Yeah. So probably not the best decision at the time. If you were to do it now, there's resources to help with that. But I think, I just launched and just hoped for the best. And then I got so down on myself because I got no sales that kind of whole week of Christmas. I tried to launch a Boxing Day campaign, didn't work. And I just thought, you know what, I'll take a week break, reevaluate, create some more content. I had the actual products myself. And then I think I relaunched towards the end of January.
Okay, so Emma, would you say that's a good recommendation to students that, if you're disappointed, you could even say heartbroken with your launch, is to just feel it, take a week off like you did, I guess reinvent your ads and then just get back into it. Is that what you'd suggest for students?
I think so. It just depends on what the circumstances are. I think for me, I was just so, down in the dumps about it because I heard Chris say no, it's not going to work. And I'm like, I'm going to have to recreate the store or try something different. And the back of me, in my head, a little voice in my head was like, no, this is a good product. And I like creating content. I did a bit of UGC creation when I was off work as well.
I see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love doing that kind of thing. So I was like, I have to figure out different ways to do it that align with me.
So basically you just tried new ads, but with the same brand, the same product.
Yeah. Same brand, same product, same complementaries at the time.
Yeah.
Relaunched. Had a couple of sales. Nothing was groundbreaking for me in those first, I'm going to say 4 months of having the store. I was profitable, but it was just coasting by. And I was just constantly thinking of ways that I could tweak things. And then I started to see a bit of growth.
Okay, cool. So as far as results, and I want to talk about your manufacturing as well.
Yeah.
So right now how much are you profiting a month at the moment?
So I'm sitting at about a 45% profit margin. So if I'm doing a 40K month, what's that, like 17, 18,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, roughly.
Amazing.
Profit.
How much? Because like you said, your first goal was so that you could just stay at home, did you say?
Yeah, so my first goal was to get to 6 months off work.
That's right, 6 months off work. Okay. So how did you feel when you achieved this?
Amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah, my son turned 6 months old and I was like, how am I still off work? How am I still being able to afford this? I was not doing anything groundbreaking where I was like balling, so to speak, but I was being able to pay the bills. And then I just started to have this passion for it. I was like, I know this can work and this can work for so many people. Okay,
amazing. So let's talk about this passion. Have you spoken to Freedom Club students before about how you went to manufacturing or?
I think I've spoken to a few. I know I was talking to Damon today about it because he's going through a similar process at the moment.
Okay. So tell us about it.
Yeah, I hit about 4-6 months in and I was kind of coasting by. I was profitable, but I wasn't like groundbreaking.
How much are we talking when you say that? Like how much are you profiting a week when this was happening? Just so everyone can connect with the...
Oh, it was like enough to get by, maybe like $600 a week. So
Profit.
Still pretty good.
Yeah.
Like still pretty good.
Yeah.
I knew that it would be a good product because it was starting to sell and it just started to grow from there. And I think it grew about, like April, May, June of last year, 2024.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm losing track of the months now.
Yeah, so just under a year
financial
ago.
year. Yeah. And by the time June came around, I hit the 75K and had to turn into a company.
Okay, well, I mean, that's a good problem to have.
Right? It was awesome. So yeah, I made the transition over to a company and thought I need to do something more epic here. And I think it was the month before I changed to the company was when I started to go, I want to design my own product. Loved the product I had, but I knew I could make it better.
Yeah.
So went and found a manufacturer, spent a lot of time with manufacturers, a lot of time chatting back and forth and kind of sampling products. And it was just more so I didn't want to go and like design a brand new piece yet because I didn't have all that money sitting there. I'd had enough money to buy bulk stock, but not enough to design as well.
Yeah.
So I got a simple white label product, which is what we call like a simple product off Alibaba or whatever you might want to call it. And I made some tweaks with the manufacturer and labeled it, got my first bulk order was, I'm going to say 150 units.
Okay.
Not a lot. It was like I had the profit there from what I had made over the past 4 months.
Did they still drop ship it or did you go to a 3PL or?
To my house
to
start with.
Okay, you packed and delivered.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
I still do it to this day, but I'm working on 3PL.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and we can talk more about that. Okay.
Yeah.
So white label, you've made some tweaks.
Yeah. So
and then
I still to this day have the same product. Yeah, it's just done so well for my brand. I think now we're up to ordering thousands of units at a time.
Wow, how amazing.
So it's just been like a growth over the since we turned over to a company in July.
Yeah.
To what are we in February? So we're like 8 months of having this product with our branding on it. Yes, I pack it from home, which is not ideal, but we're working on 3PL this year. But I just wanted to keep as much money in the business as I could because I had a real passion for it. Yeah. I wanted to be able to pack the orders. I wanted to be able to ship them out. I wanted to be able to write on thank you cards. That's just a passion of mine.
Oh, yeah, love. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I've just designed 3 new products and designed them completely myself now.
Okay.
Yeah. So very cool. Don't have them yet.
Okay. So
they're on their way.
Okay. How exciting.
Yeah.
So a question on that. Okay. So I want to be careful when I say this because you could literally drop ship for years and years with 3 products and make an absolute killing.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
But there's also different options. You know, there's 3PLs, there's getting your own warehouse, there's, shipping and handling from your own home.
Yeah. Don't recommend.
Well, see, this is my question, is that whenever you do any of these things, you have to be extremely confident, because what happens is the risk increases, but then your margins increase like crazy as well. So
hugely.
when it's successful, if it's successful, whatever, you're going to make more money. But again, it's a risk. So my question to you is, what would you recommend to students is the right timing for them to take a similar risk like this, whether it's 3PL or manufacturing or shipping from home or even warehousing their own product?
I would say once you've hit, that $10,000 profit month type thing, or whether you might have a different goal. It really just depends. You might have sold 1,000 units and sold out all your eBay supplies, which is exactly what I did.
Yeah, that's happened to me as well.
Yep. So I sold out all my supplies, and that's when I was like, what can I do?
Yeah.
So April last year, I did like $400 in sales because I had no stock.
It is the worst, most frustrating feeling ever.
Yeah. Had no stock with eBay, no stock with any suppliers. I couldn't even, drop ship from AliExpress or anything like that. And that's when I started to have these conversations with manufacturers. And I could have drop shipped with them, but I just wanted to try all this personal touch by shipping it out myself and to see if I could make more profit.
Okay, so good on you. So you hit the snag with supplier running out, and you had the option of basically now drop ship or to manufacture, and you just went for gold. You had the confidence, you were passionate, you were doing well already, so you thought, I'm gonna run it.
Yeah.
Now, how happy are you with that decision?
Stoked. So happy.
Rated out of 10.
10 out.
10 out of 10.
1,000 out of 10. I love it. If
That's
anyone
awesome.
asks me about my brand today, I go for gold. You'll see me there yapping away, and I'm like, yeah, this is mine.
Well,
it's my baby. I bought it.
You should be. You should be proud.
Yeah,
I'm proud. That's just amazing.
Yeah, I love it. So our goal this year is to, either be in 3PL or have our own warehouse, because the stock that we have is actually insane.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's going to free up your time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that
and
sounds
free
like
up my house. Yeah.
Yeah, I cannot imagine what that looks like.
Yeah.
With all the orders you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we go back a little bit, is there anything? I'm not going to call it a regret. I don't like to live life and say, oh, I regret this, I regret that. But for students listening, is there something, a part of your journey that you wish you could change or do a little bit differently, or is there some advice, I guess, you could give?
I don't think I regret anything, because I've learned so much along the way. And I think you have to go through these hurdles to learn things and to grow in your own business. So I wouldn't say I regret any of it. I just started small. I didn't go and buy 1,000 units. You
were responsible, educated. Sorry, not educated. What's the word? Calculated.
Yeah. And
educated.
I think my biggest piece of advice, if someone was to do what I did, was make sure you actually do sell out your eBay suppliers first. Make sure you do all of that first to know that the product is going to work.
Yeah.
Because if you're just like, oh, I want to ship it all from home and buy all the stock, what if it doesn't sell? You're stuck with it. Yeah. And this is exactly what we teach in the lessons, right? So you don't want to be in that position. I only started with, I think it was 100 or 150 units. And then my next order was 3 months later, and I ordered 300 units. The next order was another 2 months later, we ordered 600 units. So it takes time to kind of grow into that.
Yeah, and build up that confidence.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you handled that very sensibly, which is good. Okay, so we're just over halfway. So I want to hear about but do you know what I mean? Your progress to coaching at Freedom Club, right? Becoming a coach. So tell me, how did that happen? Tell me a bit about that.
So I think I just started sharing some of my success on the results pages. I started as a coach in, I'm going to say April last year. It might have been March or April last year. So coming up to a year. And I just started sharing my results and, the last 2 months of work that I'd done. And I started to have people message me and be like, oh, what do you recommend to do this? And what do you recommend to do that? And then Austin put a call out or something on the live call and just said, look, we're looking for another student success coach. And I was like, I'm already answering people's questions. Like, why not? I want to help people. I've always been that kind of person. And so I just reached out to Austin, and he was like, perfect fit. You've already done the course. You know what you're doing. You're already answering people's DMs. So let's just been a success coach ever since.
Okay. Because it's funny. I actually didn't know about your success until recently. When Austin told me, I'm like, wow, this is so incrable.
Yeah.
And when I heard about your story, I just got so excited. I told you before we started the call, I was like, I cannot wait to interview you. How has coaching been for you? I mean, you obviously have a passion for helping people. Like you said, you're answering people's questions even as a student. Yeah. Again, that's just like such a great trait of yours. Yeah. So how are you enjoying coaching? How are you enjoying the relationship building with students?
Yeah, I love it. I think my favorite thing is obviously seeing everybody else's success. So I think being with Freedom for a year now, coaching has been like, I've been able to see people from start to, students who are making $300,000 in 90 days. Like, incredible. It's so exciting because it's like I've helped them do a little piece of that where, you know, we've been talking and scaling their ads and that kind of thing. So
how amazing.
No, I love it. It's good. And then it ties in with, you know, the freedom of my life now too. Like I could happily just go and work for myself and just kind of run my own store and my brand. But no, I want to stay and help people and I love it.
Yeah, well,
everyone's so lovely and the community's lovely. So
they really are. That's how we all know that you're here because you're passionate about it. Because, you know, the numbers you're doing so well. Like, yeah, exactly. You don't need to be a coach at a Freedom Club. Like you want to help students. So that's really cool to hear. Okay. So Damon said, this is gold. Thanks, Emma. Great timing. Kayla, yes, Emma, slay. Annie and Carl, really, really sound advice. So happy for you, Emma. Liang. Hey, Will and Emma, could you provide more detail from transitioning from sole trader to company structure and any difficulties involved? Very practical question.
Yeah. So I guess for me, it was, I was a sole trader. So I had no idea. I've never done this before.
Yeah.
I don't know business. I've worked in retail management my whole life. So I think my first step was to get an accountant and just get some advice, just to know what I was doing. I think you could go and get a company ABN yourself and do it that way, but I went through an accountant and just it definitely took the pressure off me because otherwise I would have been pulling my hair out.
Okay, so I mean so go to an accountant. I mean, I recommend that as well. Yeah, go to the professionals for things that...
like, don't be afraid to find different accountants too. I've actually gone through 3 in the last 6 months.
There we go.
So, you know, I signed up with one, did my company ABN with them. And then I was like, you know what, this doesn't really suit e-commerce. Moved over to somebody else that another person in e-commerce recommended.
Yeah.
And again, like he's not really aligned with what I'm after now that I'm growing and I have specific goals that need to be met. So now I'm moving over to a different accountant that's more of a financial advisor in the e-commerce space.
Okay,
so
perfect.
He acts as my CFO.
Okay.
So he now tells me, you cannot afford that, don't buy it.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
So that's my piece of advice. Just don't be afraid to, speak to different accountants and find out what works.
It is good advice because I remember the first time I had an accountant and it's like, you almost feel, first of all, it's scary. It's a new, I guess, a new experience. And then a new world. That's a good way to put it. Numbers, right? Yeah. And then also you do get sort of attached to the one accountant. They've got all your details, you set up. And once you go to the next one and you shop around, you realize that you make it a bigger deal in your head than it actually is, you know?
Yeah. And getting someone that actually can look at your financials and go, yeah or no.
Yeah.
Are you making a silly decision? That's exactly what I needed.
Just help you with decisions. So that's massive. Having that, it's obviously the financial support, but it's almost like emotional support at the same time as well.
Because if you've never used Xero before, whole other world.
Yeah, I struggle with Xero.
Yeah.
Okay, so Gurvi and Kunwal. Again, I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name. So I think Emma did touch on this. Did Emma choose the product from consultation with Freedom Team or just went with your own?
It was a product that initially was on the Freedom database a long time ago. And yes, creative is king at the moment in this type of, the way meta is creative. And I know Chris says the exact same thing. Creative is the variable and it's going to make or break your brand.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you, Emma. Diane. Okay. Hi, Emma. I am looking at product number 6. Been in this journey for 14 months. Can't make it happen. Yet in capitals,
yes.
Amen.
Yes.
You said it took you 4 months to start seeing results. Was this your first product? If not, how long did you hold on to other products before deciding it wasn't going to work?
Yeah. So I think I answered this before. It was still the same product, but it was something that I was passionate about. And if I did take Austin's advice and Chris's advice, I probably would have ran the other direction because of the results I was having straight in that first month. But it was a product I believed in and I was passionate about. And circumstances apply for different people. Like I just wanted this to work because it aligned with me as a person. Mm-hmm. But again, you can build brands and not get attached to the product. And you can have amazing success from it too. So you don't have to be personally attached to it. It's just something I was passionate about. So
it's good advice because you can have a product that doesn't work that isn't because of the product itself, but it could just be your ads.
Yeah.
So if you're passionate about the product, I guess because you're attached, you try with your ads. Yeah. Maybe you spend a bit more money. Actually, that's a good question. But how much did you spend before you started profiting? Like, did you blow through a lot of cash or?
I initially only invested $1,000.
Okay.
And I haven't put in any money into the business ever since.
How good.
Yeah.
Sorry if you covered this running around with the kids here. That's okay, Diane. No stress. Love the multitasking.
Can relate.
Yeah, I bet. Mothers are super women, that's for sure. Just relating to my mum. Jade said, also relatable to the goals I have, very inspiring and motivating.
Yay.
So agreed, Jade, agreed. And Elisa and David, we have a fantastic accountant in Melbourne. Okay.
Amazing.
Interesting.
That's so good because it's hard to find a good one.
Damon, hey Emma, you know my plan at the moment. Wondering if you had a contact or agent when looking for manufacturers. Interesting, good question. Or did you just take the punt direct with Alibaba manufacturers?
I would say, yeah, that is an awesome question. So no, I didn't have a contact. I started with Alibaba and went from there. And I needed to find a manufacturer. So don't use Alibaba as a buy space. Use it as a browsing tool to find a manufacturer. That's probably my biggest takeout is a lot of people make mistakes and just go, oh, I'm just going to buy that straight from Alibaba. Speak to the manufacturer through them. And then you can make decisions through them and chat to them. And then you can deal with them directly. So that's my biggest piece of advice there.
Okay, so how did you go about pulling or isolating the manufacturer from Alibaba?
So I reached out to, I found the product. The exact product that I was selling on eBay was on Alibaba.
Yeah.
And from there, I think I chatted to about 5 or 6 different manufacturers that sold the same product and started chatting to them. And it is a process. It is a process and a half because of the language barrier and working at their MOQs. So if you don't know what an MOQ is, it is a minimum order quantity. So when you're buying in bulk, some of them have MOQs of 500 and you don't want to be buying 500 units when you don't know if it's going to sell. Lucky for me, I knew the product was already going to sell. So yeah, I just chatted to about 6 different ones until I found one that was happy to make the tweaks that I wanted, was happy to do the logo how I wanted, like listen to what I wanted and the specs that I wanted in the product. And yeah, I've been working with that same manufacturer ever since.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, she's good. She's amazing. And then you just end up chatting on WhatsApp and it becomes a lot easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
That must have been such a great experience for you. So exciting.
Yeah, very exciting.
Okay, so we have Michaela. So amazing, Emma. We joined at a very similar time and it's been so inspiring watching you succeed. Do you have staff that assist you with your brand? If so, what are their roles?
No, I don't. I still do everything myself, but I am onboarding a VA as we speak to help with customer service and things like that. And then I'm looking to hire a social media person and warehouse assistant.
Okay.
In the next 2 months, hopefully.
Okay, so with these roles, how many hours do you think you're going to delegate to each one of these?
So VA, I just want them to look after customer service and
a few hours a week sort of thing?
Yeah, probably about 3 or 4 hours. Just depends on what else I need. I'd love to be able to train them in some other aspects of the business as well. So I'm currently in the process of making a plan to write out everything I do. I'm a control freak, so I've always held on to everything. I love my brand and I just need another person like me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean,
so it's hard, but I just mapped out everything the other day and I was like, this is everything that I need to do and everything I do on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
And this is the stuff that's in my to-do pile, like create a Facebook community, little things like that I've been wanting to do for the brand for a long time, but haven't had the time to.
Because you had success with that when you had your brands in 2018, right? You said you built a really nice community, so you've got experience.
I need to do that as well, but I just haven't had the time to because I'm doing everything at the moment. Ads and content creation is probably my biggest variable at the moment.
So the plan is to give the tasks that are a bit more mundane, maybe require a little bit less skill for now so that you can prioritize the things that are really going to help grow the business.
Yeah. And then, like I said, I onboarded an accountant that's acting as my CFO. So I don't have to look after any of that anymore. Yeah. So I was previously doing all my financials, all my bookkeeping, all of that kind of thing, my BAS, all of that. Very scary stuff. Yeah. So he does all of that. So I'm onboarding a VA to help with, the mundane stuff. And then in the next 2 months, my goal is to onboard a clone of me, but a social media girly.
Okay, I love that.
Someone to look after the social side of things because, I love to share things on TikTok and things like that. And we've built a little bit of a community on TikTok.
Interesting. Just to quickly share a little bit about me, not that anyone asked, but one of my first businesses, I guess as an entrepreneur, I was selling online fitness transformations. Yeah. And I was using influencers. So I was basically transforming influencers and then they were selling their journey. So it was really, really cool. I stuffed up, I can't remember which was a tax or BAS or whatever. And I ended up owing all this money and it almost sent me under. I recovered and then went under anyway, one of my first businesses, but it is super scary. And until you know, you don't know. Yeah.
And it's like little things like putting money away for tax.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
Because you pay tax every quarter.
Yeah, I wasn't doing that.
I didn't do that my first quarter either. And then my BAS bill came around and I was like, ooh.
And you think you're making more money than you actually are as well. You're getting all excited.
All that money goes to the tax man. Yeah, so getting somebody to help with financials is very important. Yeah. So that's the plan. So yes, to answer that question, I need help. Yeah.
So what are your pros and cons of buying in bulk and shipping out orders yourself, going off your experience from Michaela?
So my pros would be I'm obviously very passionate. I'm a little bit OCD and I've always wanted to be able to fulfill my own orders. Like I just love businesses and watching businesses thrive, founder-led, like I wanted to be the face of my brand.
Yeah.
Pros are I wanted that personal touch. I wanted to be able to share my journey. I wanted to be able to pack the orders myself and give it that personal touch.
Yeah.
The cons are you do it from home to start with. You start in your garage. I'm in my garage sweaty every day working and it's turned into a warehouse now. So you're in your own house, you've got stock everywhere. I wouldn't recommend it. Very time consuming.
Just quickly, how many orders are you packing a day?
So we're doing 15 to 20 orders a day, average on a normal day.
Yeah. They're, I guess, the cons of...
Yeah, so I think the cons are, like we teach in the lessons, like you don't really want to be packing orders from home because it is time consuming. You're adding in the extra factor of having to pack orders every day, or in my case, I do it every second day. So they do build up. So it is time consuming.
Yeah. And the risk, of course, we spoke about earlier.
Yeah. And the risk. And then you've also got your stock invading your house as well. So, but you start small. And then that's the most exciting part for me is watching my brand build.
Yeah.
And I started from, my spare room had a queen bed on it. I was working on my queen bed with a couple of products. And then now it's taken, that room is not a queen bed anymore. That room is my office.
Yeah.
And then my garage where my car used to be parked is now a warehouse.
Yeah, wow.
So it is. And then my hallway's chockers as well. So
okay, there we go.
It's good. I love it. I'm passionate about it. And if anyone else is passionate about it, do it, but only do it responsibly when you've made, I had already made the money in the business to be able to do it.
And you reinvested that money.
To do that, yeah. So I wouldn't do it straight off the bat if I didn't believe in my product.
Damon, have you visited the factory or do you plan to visit the factory that is?
No, good question. I plan to visit this year. So I'm either going in May, seems a little bit soon, depending on the logistics of my little tiny human, but it could be October. So May or October this year.
Okay, what'd you say, your little tiny human?
Little tiny human.
Oh, yeah, Hunter, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about your manufacturer.
I call him Hurricane Hunter.
Hurricane Hunter.
Yeah, he's a hurricane.
Okay, there we go.
So yeah, depending on, I don't think I could take him to China, but yeah, depending on that, it'll be definitely this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
How exciting.
Yeah, very exciting.
Okay, so Michaela, how many products were you selling when you decided you were going to order in bulk? Have you answered
Three.
that? Three.
Just the initial three. So
Primary,
I was doing
two
primary,
complementaries.
2 complementaries. And I say this to everybody who asks me this question all the time, should I have more complementaries? Is more complementaries better? I always say no. I think it's great to start with a 3 because you're putting out 3 really good quality products.
Yeah.
Your listings are great. Your descriptions are great. Your photos are great. I would rather see you have 3 great products and then add to it later on.
Yeah.
You can duplicate it. You can launch and then add more products later on. So that's exactly what I did.
Okay, good. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And how many products do you have now?
About 10 to 15 or maybe 10. It'd be closer to 10. Not a lot.
Are you running ads to how many of your products?
Just the one.
Oh,
just
wow.
my primary. Still the same. Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah. Soon it'll be more because we have new products on the way.
Yeah.
And I did a limited edition launch of a similar product last year and we sold out in that launch.
Wow.
Yeah. So I ran ads to that one as well.
Okay.
So just for the launch.
That's cool. Okay. And Michaela, do you have business insurance?
Yes. No.
No. That's funny. Okay, so
I should.
skipping past.
Yeah.
Okay, so that answers that.
Moving on.
Damon, you're hilarious, just like your nephew Austin. If you want a traveling companion, hit me up. That's from Damon.
Yeah, come to China. Let's go. Who else wants to come to China?
Damon, how's your store going at the moment, mate? I know Damon's doing quite well.
Yeah, he jumps into my calls every day. Every time I'm on live, he'll jump in there and chat.
Okay.
He's in a very similar situation at the moment with manufacturers. So
how cool is that? Yeah, Austin's uncle just killing it.
But very similar success story. So he's already sold, enough products to have that money in the business to go, yeah, I know this is a winner. I'm going to go and do it. So,
well, I might have to meet up with Damon at some point and chat with him.
Definitely.
So Damon, mate, you're on my radar.
Yeah,
all right.
watch
Hey,
out.
I'm coming for you. Okay. So next, Barina Mona. So when you transition from drop shipping to fulfilling orders in-house, how did you deal with the cost of postage? Did you absorb it and reduce your margin, charge the customer? Good question. Or increase your cost? How did it go?
Yeah, great question. So initially I was absorbing the cost, and if you know Australia Post, their prices are outrageous.
Yeah.
So I went, nope, I'm not doing this anymore. And so now I charge postage, but you can't charge a customer what we pay for postage. So for example, sometimes if I'm posting rurally, it costs me $18. And I'm on band 5. I'm on the highest band with Australia Post. So I only charge like $9.99 for regular and $12.99 for express. And I was nervous to do that. I only did that probably in October last year.
And you had no issues with that?
No, I thought it would affect conversion, but it didn't at all.
Okay. And what stopped you from just increasing the price of your product? Because you can do, I guess, one or the other, right?
You can go either way, and you could probably do a test to do either which one. I didn't test it. I just went, I'm just going to test postage. And I think I tested postage quite low. I think I did $7.99 for
And you're just kind of climbing up the postage,
and I was like,
seeing
I'm just going to check if this works because if I'm sending, say I'm packing 50 orders, it's costing me $500 to pay my postage bill. So it's expensive.
Annalisa and David, sorry, came in late. That's okay. Not sure if this question has been asked. How long have you had your business?
Be 14 months now.
14 months.
Yeah.
Barine and Mona, is your ultimate goal to continue to grow this brand or are you considering creating additional businesses? Yeah, I'd love to hear about your future goals.
Yeah. So I have another store in the works at the moment, but just going to stick to drop shipping with this one. But this brand that I have now is my baby. Like it's something I really want to grow. I'm quite passionate about it. You know, I've looked at the figures for what we're already doing this year and I know we're already at a 500% growth rate on last year. So it's exciting. I can see where the vision is going. So I definitely want to grow. I'm passionate about it. But yeah, to answer that, I love it.
Okay.
But I want little other stores on the side as well because they're fun. They're fun to create.
Yeah. So you are thinking of having some other stores?
Yeah, I've had one in the works for probably 6 months, but I'm so busy with my own brand.
Same niche or different niche?
Different niche.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Mixing it up. Okay, so Damon's just answering my question before I think. Hey, well, coasting along, $. Okay, cool. Love that. Very similar timing as Emma. I'm at a stage that I really want to create a big brand in my niche. Love that, mate. I was just talking to Emma about this today.
Yeah.
Cool. Very exciting. Okay, so going back into your journey, I know I asked you this before, but what is like the biggest advice that you would give, I guess, someone starting off nervous? Maybe they even had their first failure.
Yeah, I think find what your motivator is. I think everybody signed up to this for a reason and you've paid the money for a reason, right? Like, do you want to let that money go to waste? You've signed up for a reason. What is it? Yeah. Work towards it. If you've fallen off the wagon a bit, maybe you've had a failed product, have a little bit of a break. Have a week off, 2 weeks off. Life happens, things come up. Have a bit of a reprieve and go again. Reach out to one of us coaches. We're always willing to help. And I think having these group chats now is amazing because we've got quick response times. We're having these other conversations going on and it's just super helpful. So I think, that would be my biggest piece of advice, just to find what's motivating you, find why you signed up in the first place and make it happen. If you're like me, just don't give yourself any other option.
Yeah.
Quit your job. Don't quit your job.
But I guess it could be cliche in a way, but everyone says the same thing. It's like, just focus on your why. You know, why did you start? And just remind yourself because e-commerce, just like anything else, can be tough. And there's challenges, there's roadblocks. You know, you get tired, life gets in the way.
Yeah. You're learning all the time.
That's right. But it's like, if you've been listening to these calls and, you know, seeing students succeed, it's like, focus on your why, know that this can happen for you and your life could completely change.
Yeah, you know? And I think turn up to the calls as well. I see the best success happen with the students that turn up to the calls. Week in, week out. You're going to ad calls, you're going to website review calls, you know, you're getting your ads looked at. Look at the data, get help, don't be afraid. And those ones that are getting help are the ones that have amazing stores now and are producing amazing results.
Yeah, there we go. Attend live calls. My sister's about to start get into e-com. A lot of my family have, but she's been a little bit late to the party.
Yeah.
And I said to her, just go to all the live calls. Just start listening to the live calls.
Yeah.
Because as you're going through the course, so, you know, you hit surprises, right? Because you're going through it in a certain order. But if you start listening to the live calls as you go, it's like, you can get more prepared for the section that you're in. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So it's like,
I think I remember going, like, at the time when I joined, it was just Austin's Monday calls. And I remember going to them at the start and being like, what are all these like things? Like, I have no idea what anybody's talking about. And I felt so overwhelmed, but I was like,
different sections of the journey.
Yeah, different parts. And people would be talking about ads and people would be talking about this. And I just remember thinking, what have I done? Like, this is way over my head. But then I just was like, no, I'll just chip through it bit by bit.
Yeah.
Reach out if I need help. But every week that I attended those calls, something became a little bit like, oh, I know what that means now. And then I know what that means. And it just became easier. Yeah. And now, like, that language that's spoken is second nature.
Yeah, now it's your language. So Claire, was Ozpost still the best option considering those rates you mentioned? Have you tried any other options?
Yeah, so I use Sendle for a little bit. Sendle's great for returns. I recommend this to a few people who do returns and want them sent back. They actually pick up from the customer's house. So you can book it in and then all they have to do is leave it at their front door and they pick up between 8 and 6 p.m.
Okay.
And then send it to you.
Okay.
So it's great for that. I used to use it when I had returns or exchanges or anything like that.
Yeah.
I looked into Aramax, but they don't do rurally. So I was having to use Australia Post anyway. So I just thought I needed to streamline the process, and Shopify connects with Australia Post through an app. You just click, boom, done.
Perfect.
It's the easiest way. Cost me money, but.
So this question's got 4 likes. How much of your success would you attribute to your gut instincts, and how much is it getting direct instruction coaching from others who've had more experience? Wow.
I'm going to say a lot of it went on gut instincts because I did get told a little bit like
what not to do and you didn't do it.
Yeah. I didn't listen to the advice, but I kept persisting. And then every time I turned up to a live call, it was like, oh, you're still working on this product. So I just did what I believed in. So I knew I had a gut feeling that this was going to work. I also had, you know, the content creation background, like all of that kind of thing. I was just like, I can create my own content. I can do this. Like I just wanted to share everything with everybody. And I think I also tried different avenues. Google ads. I tried to post on TikTok, like created a TikTok community, shared it on my personal TikTok as well. So like I'm not afraid to be the face of the brand, and that's what's helped.
I think that we've run out of time, but I think that's really powerful is that, you know, join the program, follow the freedom formula. But at the same time, we're all different. We're all unique. We're all smarter in our own ways. So yeah, trust your gut. It's like follow the program, but at the same time, you're your own individual that can make decisions and make mistakes that can really benefit you. So
it's your business at the end of the day. So, you know, we give you the tools to guide you, but the decisions, like once you become successful, are up to you.
Yeah, that's right. So everyone's just saying thank you. Emma, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You're amazing.
It's been awesome.
You're welcome. Thank you for everyone for listening. Thank you for coming. This has been the biggest live call yet. Let's go.
Yay, I love that.
So really awesome. Everyone's saying super helpful, inspiring. Thank you for sharing. Freedom Club.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
See you, everyone.
See ya.